Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to this afternoon's tasting. We are experiencing a really warm day. Summer's here without a doubt in Somerset West. However, we're tasting a wine today that's a hot property, but from a cool climate.
Well, actually, the whole day we set aside to cook, to taste, to look at the different wines and what they do with the food and why we actually do what we do, and why should people take 5 minutes to listen to what we have to say? And I think with this plethora of wines to choose from in South Africa. No, but Giorgio, honestly, you can buy anything, and for every pocket. But really, from our house, if you hop over the mountain and you get into Elgin, it's like you escape into a different world.
Sure. So Elgin, I mean, we both got extremely soft spot for it. Besides its beauty, I mean, it's terroir with regards to wines, and the property is situated in the region of producing top world-class wines, and Almenkerk is right up there. I mean, I know you know the Van Almenkerks far better than what I do. I knew Joep extremely well, the late Joep. But I mean, Eurus and Natalie, who's running the farm, Eurus making the wine, Natalie marketing, PR, tasting, counts. Natalie does pretty much everything.
I met Natalie when I still studied with the Cape Wine Academy, and she's a force to be reckoned with. And for a young couple to move from Belgium to come here and pursue a dream, and then to really be good at it, that says something. And they are extraordinary good at what they do, at what they do, but as people, yes.
Absolutely amazing.
And I'm glad you mentioned Joep. It was a terrible tragedy for them to lose them during this uncertain time, and he was partly the co-founder of Almenkerk, and so hats off to both Natalie and Eurus for creating this really special place, and the architecture and all the thought that went behind creating this beautiful place in Elgin. I mean, it's really, when people go to Elgin, it's something that's on their to-do list. Yeah.
So if I'm not mistaken, dating back to 2002, when they came over and they were looking for a property that had the most amazing climate, a lovely terroir, and well, how Eurus normally says, actually a nice place to stay. And they almost bought a property in Stellenbosch, and a friend last minute said, well, let's go over the mountain and have a look, there's something interesting there. And I think 2 weeks later they signed the papers at Almenkerk. So they've been around. The property was just over 35 hectares, apple orchards. They've put 15 hectares under vine at the moment, and they still got about 4 or 5 hectares of apple, and I think about a hectare of pear, 3 or 4 different types of apples, and they're the apple in a pear boutique farm, and the most amazing wine farm, in my opinion.
Well, that brings us back to the wine.
Yeah, of course.
And they excel in Sauvignon Blanc, cool climate Syrah, but what we've got here today is the Chardonnay. And they make wines also for different pockets. I mean, the Lace is an incredible wine. That's a different story on its own. But let's really just hone on for the next minute. What is cool climate Chardonnay?
Sure.
What Elgin Chardonnay really about?
Sure. So this is the 19, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
So it's the 19 Almenkerk Chardonnay. Like we said, Elgin, cool climate. What now, Bella?
No, that's the one that got the top 100.
You can't look at the label, you've got to describe the wine in the glass.
No, I just want. I was worried I'm going to forget that.
So on the nose, you've got the typical, almost that stone fruit, peach. You've got beautiful freshness, zestiness. I mean, you're picking up small hints of vanilla, which is probably the oak influence.
I think people need to be patient with a Sauvignon Blanc like this, because it really
With
tells...
a Chardonnay like this?
What did I say?
Sauvignon Blanc?
Oh, I'm sorry. I think we want... Yeah, exactly. One needs to be patient with a Chardonnay like this, because it's going to tell you little bits, because it's not... Chardonnay is not a aromatic grape per se. So you really have to look at... Because mostly, I think they do everything, ferment everything naturally. They use oak, French oak, they use the concrete egg. So the wine is kind of reticent at first, and then it starts to give a lot. but it never goes into the spectrum of the ripe Chardonnays that you can expect from a warmer climate. But a lot of that, almost like a wet wool, crushed almond nuts, even crushed hazelnuts. It really trails lightly before, and you really, like, this is a perfect glass, a perfect riddle glass, but we also have those big ball riddle glasses, and you can really get your nose in there. And then all this more like white stone fruit, very citrus driven, but very elegant nuances that warms up as you swirl wine.
And then there's some ripe pineapple, and I know Euros and with the cultures they put a lot of emphasis on canopy management, management, and I think it shows on the nose, and I'm sure it will pretty much transfer over onto the palate.
You know, all that fruit you're talking about is almost like it's etched with the salinity, that pebbly stone.
There is a sense of salinity. You're absolutely right. Yeah.
And part of that salt flakes kind of trails behind, and it's an exquisite wine. There's nothing sticks out. Everything, and it's still a baby, really, if you think about what they want to achieve with this wine.
Sure, but what I find amazing in this wine is the fact you've got the true cool climate Chardonnay characteristics with the freshness, but then you've got the length with it, which is exquisite. And like you said, it would be so interesting to see where this goes with time. Definitely a food wine, a wine that, you go ahead. Sorry.
No, I'm listening to you.
No.
No, we opened this earlier today, and it's a bit more voluptuous now than it was earlier today.
Sure, it's opened up.
That's what I tried to say, like, be patient with this wine.
That's right, and again, from a service perspective, I know people enjoy serving their wines really cold, especially in summer, but Chardonnay is one of those varietals that you want to serve as cold as you would have served your Blanc, for argument's sake. So I'd serve this 1 or 2 degrees slightly warmer, and so that all the characteristics just jump out of the glass, hit you in the face, and tell you the story of that. So yeah, serve Chardonnay cold, not ice cold. Give it some time, open up, especially when something is made at this stature. Definitely a food wine, something that if you want to keep for a little while, you'll be rewarded, again, with patience. And visit the property. I mean, the property is amazing.
No, I'm not big on back labels. I want people to make their own opinion, but you've got to just something on this back label that says, I just read it now because this is the new release. The classic voluptuous, cool climate style was always a favorite of Joep from Almenkerk, the late patriarch of the family. How beautiful to include him on this new release.
You'll always be part of it, won't he?
And hats off to both you. It's an exquisite wine. It's a kind of wine I think that people can add to their favorite collection.
Sure.
You know. And what did we cook with it? We only cooked vegetables today,
Sure, yeah.
and we did a lot of different recipes, and we ended up serving this or pairing this or matchmaking this with a cauliflower steak.
With chickpeas and wild rice, and then your sauce, which...
Well, it was a Romanesque inspired sauce, but this wine has got so much power, so we kept adding some capers and some mint and some basil, and this wine just like stood up proudly. And what a wonderful, just beautiful combination of food. Go read the recipe, and have fun with it, and support Almenkerk.
Almenkerk, Natalie, Euros, and to the late Joep. Cheers. Thank you for this opportunity.
Delicious.